Alright, so I'm going to talk about Illinois for 5 minutes. Illinois is a great state. Illinois is where Chicago is. Chicago's a very nice city. My favorite part about Chicago is like the river and the architecture. I probably like the architecture more than any other state more than any other city besides Portland, which I guess now I'm going to talk about Portland because that's what I'm thinking about. And Portland is just probably the best city in the United States. I think a lot of people shit on Portland, but it has very good like new buildings, and it has cool murals and art everywhere, and also has a very like art and creativity friendly culture, which is probably the only thing that makes life worth living is probably creativity and like interesting shit. Like if we wanted like just survival, then it would be like, why are we surviving? I mean, that's what differentiates us from animals. But the humans from animals is the creativity and shit like that. But back to Chicago. Chicago is probably my second favorite city besides Portland. Where Chicago is just has great architecture everywhere, and then the river is fun. It's green and stuff, and the river goes right straight through the middle of the city. Chicago also has a very rich like history and shit, and that's good. It's good when you have like a fun history and stuff, and it's got like the whole like mafia history and shit like that. And then I literally know nothing about the rest of the state of Illinois except for the fact that the University of Illinois has a really shitty football team. I know that, and then I know that the Chicago Bulls used to be very good at basketball, so that's a whole thing too with the city. And then the Bears used to be really good at football, so they have two sports teams that used to be very good, and now they suck ass. But the city is still good. It's also the location of probably the best show that's currently on, which is it's on Hulu. It's called The Bear, and that's probably the best show out right now. And I don't know. What else? Yeah, I've been to Chicago like 2 or 3 times, and it was good every time. It's like they had you go to the they got the bean. People love taking photos with the bean. It's just a bean shaped thing. It's a piece of art. Like if you just get like 2 or 3 pieces of art in a city, then that can be like that's enough to be like interesting to people. I don't know what makes people travel to different places, but I think the main thing that makes people travel to certain places is like population. If you just like literally just have a lot of people in a place and a lot of money in a place, then there's more interesting things there, and then it makes more people likely to visit. And there's a lot of people in Chicago. I don't know why there's so many people in Chicago. Maybe it's because of the river, but it's interesting to think about maybe what makes populations grow and shit like that. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. Not this is a shorter one, but like to reiterate, Chicago is a great city. It might be my favorite. Oh, here's something. I'll talk about the buildings. They got the Willis Tower, which is cool, and then they've got. But I have a preferential bias for the Hancock Tower because I've been in that building more. I've been in that building like twice or thrice. It's got the tilt thing where it's like a fun thing where it's like, ooh, scary, where you go on a thing and it like you have to pay and you put your arms on these bars and you hang on, and then it tilts forward and you lean across viewing the city, and that's kind of fun. And then you've got restaurants and stuff up there. And that's cool. It's cool when skyscrapers have a cool observation. And that's like the third tallest building in the city. A taller building is, and it's interesting because of obviously the recent political stuff, but maybe possibly the coolest building. I mean, it's not even, it's not possibly, it's like definitely the coolest building in Chicago is, funny enough, it's the Trump Tower, which is funny because the one in New York, the Trump Tower in New York is more famous, but the one in Chicago is like legitimately the best building in Chicago, regardless of political beliefs. It's, I think it's the tallest building in Chicago. and I think it was made by the same person that made the tallest building in the world, and it kind of looks similar. If you look up a picture of the Trump Tower in Chicago, you'll see it. It really is like the junior version of the tallest building in the world, where it just looks like the smaller version. Yeah, I'm looking at a picture right now. It's literally just the smaller version of the Burj Khalifa, which is like, that's still very impressive. It's very tall. It's hard to even look at it. It's also it's like the end pretty much of the river. It's like a perfect location, and then it's just super tall. I don't know. I'm seeing that it's losing a lot of money. I think he should, I don't know, it's kind of stupid. He should visit it more, because it's the coolest thing that he has his name attached to, I think. Like, he was the president, and at this point, I have almost no opinion politically at this point. But I would say, I think his biggest legacy it's not the presidency or his money or anything. I think that just having your name on the coolest building in a city is probably the biggest flex that you could have. And that's another thing. It's like you don't even have to pay to like look at a building. So it's like, again, money is just totally useless, because it's like you can just you could own like, let me put it this way: the only thing money is good for is like competition. But if you don't care about like impressing people, then money is almost entirely useless. Almost entirely useless. But if you want to have your name on a big building like that, now I don't know how people would feel about that who have like a very common last name, like Smith or something, Smith or Black, which are I think the two most common last names. Then it wouldn't probably mean much to you to have your last name on a building. But you could get your first and last name on a building. Have some kind of a legacy that would last essentially 0 years if you think about the eternal length of the universe. Anyway, that's it. That's my video on Illinois.